things that I learned on the Kent Hovind Creation Seminar Part 1. This is food for thought, and if you like it, if it interests you, then check out his video, Kent Hovind Creation Seminar Part 1, The Age of the Earth. So all over the world, petrified trees are found straight up through millions of years of rock layers. How can this be explained? Firstly, wood petrifies quickly. When Mount St. Helens exploded, it blew all the trees into Spirit Lake. Those trees became waterlogged and will petrify. There are many instances of things petrifying quickly. One picture is shown of a cowboy's foot petrified in his boot. He is dubbed the limestone cowboy. Another is of a bat that petrified before it can decompose. He has another animal giving birth, and it petrified during that event. Kent Hovind theorized that these petrified trees are a result of the great flood spoken of in the Bible. The flood caused sediment to be washed away from one area into another. When this is done on a smaller scale, which it has been done on a smaller scale, I've watched a video of that. Think of an aquarium with hills of dirt in it and dropping many gallons of water into that aquarium. What happens is the sediment within a few hours will form layers all by itself without millions of years. So these trees were simply washed away in the flood, and they were waterlogged. They were within water that had sediment in it and formed sedimentary layers, and it was stuck in that and it petrified. That's the best explanation we could have for that. Here's another one. The largest reef in the world is the Great Barrier Reef. After extensive study on the reef and how quickly the reef grows, it was determined that the reef is about 4,200 years old. Niagara Falls has been eroding at 4.7 feet a year. Based on this, the Earth is about, well, it's a young Earth. Otherwise, it would have moved much further. Stalactites are said to grow 2.5 inches every 1,000 years, yet there are 50-inch stalactites under the Lincoln Memorial built in 1922, and the stalactites were observed in 1960, so less than 40 years for those 50-inch stalactites. At our current rate of erosion, the continents would erode flat in 14 million years, so how's it possible to say that we're billions of years old? Even anything over 14 million is impossible. The oldest writing systems in the world are about 3,000 years old. Okay, I got more notes. Hang with me a minute. The Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. The rotation is slowing down by 1 second every couple of years. If you go back billions of years, the Earth would have been spinning so fast that the winds would have been 5,000 miles per hour due to something called the Coriolis effect. Just couldn't happen. The Sahara Desert expands at a set rate per year. Apparently this is due to the winds coming into the continent. And it's been extensively studied. And based on this research, it was concluded that the desert is 4,000 years old. If the Earth were older, the desert would have expanded further. The pressure of underground oil is so high that it can only be held in the Earth for about 10,000 years or less. The pressure is so high that if the Earth were older, all the oil would have escaped by now. Here's another one. In 1942, during World War II, some planes ran out of fuel and landed in Greenland. They were rescued, but the planes were left there. And in 1992, a millionaire from Kentucky decided to try to recover these planes. They were found using ground-penetrating radar. They melted a hole to get to the planes. It was 263 feet down. The planes had been buried by 263 feet of ice in 48 years. So some people will say that the ice cores will prove that the Earth is millions of years old. However, each one of those rings is not a year. It is a pattern of warming and cooling, which happens many times during the year. So at 263 feet of ice in 48 years, that would have equaled about 5.5 feet of ice per year, and that would mean the ice could not have been accumulating for billions of years, and around 4,000 years would make sense in that scenario. So all these things are starting to form a picture. People who study the population understand how quickly the population grows, and based on their calculations, we would have been here about 4,400 years. Saturn's rings are expanding, proof that it could not have been here billions of years, or they would not be there anymore. The moon is getting farther from the Earth every day. If you go back 1.4 million years, the moon would touch the Earth. So I guess that would be the point of the Big Bang. But if it's 1.4 million years ago, then how can we have been here billions of years? Comets trail material and therefore continually lose matter. Based on that information, comets cannot last more than 10,000 years. So we can't have been here longer than 10,000 years. The Earth's magnetic field is getting weaker. Earth's magnetic strength has declined 10% in the last 150 years and 40% in the last 1,000 years. Based on the magnetic field degeneration, the Earth is 25,000 years old at maximum. It cannot be older than that. Carbon dating cannot work for more than a few thousand years. The lower leg of a mammoth had a radiocarbon year age of 15,380, while the skin and flesh of the leg were 21,300 radiocarbon years. So that's a 5,000 year difference in the same animal. Impossible. So, lastly, the Big Bang was conceived by Georges Edouard Lemaitre. I probably butchered that. 1894 to 1966, somewhere in there, he imagined this Big Bang. He said it should be no more than 12 trillion miles in diameter. In 1965, it was reduced to 275 million, from trillion to million. In 1972, they changed it from 275 million to 71 million. In 1974, they changed it from 71 million to 54,000. In 1983, we've gone from trillion to 1 trillionth of the diameter of a proton, and now they say we came from nothing. It wasn't even a trillionth of the size of a proton. It was just nothing. So we came from nothing. Now, the idea of a spinning mass at the Big Bang is put forward to explain how we get the rotation of galaxies. But Mr. Hovind has said that this violates the law of conservation of angular momentum, which says that if an object is spinning and all the pieces of it break apart, that all of those pieces will be going in the same direction. They've seen this happen. If it's clockwise, then all the pieces will spin clockwise. It's a law. But 8 out of 91 moons spin backwards. Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune have moons that go in both directions at the same time, and the whole galaxy goes backwards, I guess, from all the planets. When asked, a professor from Berkeley could not answer any of these questions. So the Bible claims that creation was about 4,000 years ago, and according to our lineages in the Bible that can be traced back, those lineages say 4,000 years. So all of these things come together to suggest that the Earth is about 4,000 years old, and it can't be older than 10,000 in some cases. In some cases, 1.4 million years. But we need a lot longer than that to get to the evolutionary theory. So that can't be right. Now, he's got other videos where he goes into further detail. But for right now, if that piqued your interest, go check it out. And thanks for listening. Love you. Bye-bye.